Can a $50 Chinese device perform like the big boys in this crowded industry? Stay tuned, we will find out right after this. I recently received this box in the mail. It is the Edup 1200M Wi-Fi dual band router. It supports 802.11 AC with speeds up to 1200 Mbps. It is manufactured by a Chinese company called Edup based in Shenzhen, China. As you take the device out of the box, you see that it is a well-made device with 4 large antennas. Other than a power adapter and a user manual, there was nothing else in the box. The back of the device is like any regular router with 1 WAN port and 4 LAN ports. To set up the device, you can either use a cable or LAN cable or Wi-Fi. For LAN cable setup, plug one end of the LAN cable into your computer and plug the other end into the LAN port of the device. Please be advised that there is no LAN cable included in the box and hence you need to get a cable yourself. In our case, we set up using the Wi-Fi connection. For Wi-Fi connection, connect to the Open Wi-Fi SSID by the name Wi-Fi D9BD. Whichever option you choose, the DHCP server of the device would assign an IP address in the range 192.168.0. something. We can check your IP address from the command prompt by typing IPCONFIG. It will show all the IP address statistics. You can search your adapter and get the IP address. In our case, it is Wi-Fi and we see it has assigned an IP address 192.168.0.194 and we see the gateway is 192.168.0.1, which is the router IP address. So let us go to the browser and go to that IP. As you can see, it takes us to the login screen where we need to use the default password admin. Once we are in, it would tell us that the WAN cable is not connected, which is obvious because we haven't connected it. It gives you an option to either set up offline or use WISP, which is Wireless Internet Service Provider. In our case, let us choose the setup offline mode. On the home page, we are given option to choose our internet connection. First is PPPoE or point-to-point protocol over internet. If your ISP has given you a PPPoE connection, then use this mode and enter your login credentials. The next option is to use static IP. This is used if you already have an ISP router with internet connection and you want to use this device to get Wi-Fi. In that case, you put a static IP from the subnet used by ISP router. The gateway will be the ISP router's IP. Be careful and configure an IP that is not already assigned by the DHCP server. The next option is dynamic IP. In this case, you don't have to make any configuration and the router will request an IP from the DHCP server of the ISP router. The next option is point-to-point tunneling protocol or layer 2 tunneling protocol. If you connect to the internet using layer 2 VPN, then put your username, password and all the required credentials given by your ISP. Please be noted, you need to plug the cable coming from your ISP or ISP router to the WAN port in all the above mentioned cases. The next option is Wireless Internet Service Provider or WISP in short, which is nothing but a fancy name for wireless extending. In this case, it just connects to an existing Wi-Fi and it creates another network to extend the connection. Normally in wireless extending functions, there is a DHCP relay, which means that any DHCP request received by the wireless extender is relayed to the original Wi-Fi network and it receives an IP address from there. But this device does not have that function and hence I had to create a separate network with SSID and a new DHCP server on LAN, as you will see ahead. Now coming to the connection strength, it is absolutely fantastic. It is almost reaching the theoretical maximum of -30 dBm. I have been using this device for a week as an extender to extend my Wi-Fi to a corner in my office where my TP-Link device was not able to send the signal. I must admit, this device is doing a fantastic job. So now let's see what we have. If you click the Internet Status tab on the left, it gives you a snapshot of the whole device with WAN IP, real-time statistics on the device and network traffic. The WAN tab gives you information about your WAN connection. In this case, it is connected to an existing Wi-Fi network. The LAN tab is where we configure the LAN IP address of the device. In this case, it is 192.168.0.1. The DHCP server can be also configured here, like the start IP address, end IP address, and other information like DNS. I like to put the primary DNS as my router's IP address. I'm talking about the ISP router, that is 192.168.2.1 in this case, and the Google DNS, Google public DNS, which is 8.8.8 or 8.8.8.8. If you're in China or other restricted countries, Google public DNS may not work. Next tab is the wireless tab. Here we can choose the SSID and password for both bands, that is 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. You can configure them as you like and hit the save button. Remember, when you hit that save button, you will get disconnected if you're configuring the device on Wi-Fi like me. Don't worry, just reconnect to the newly configured Wi-Fi. And now if you check, the internet connection should be working. Let us go to the Edup website to verify. The next tab is restricted mode, where you can add MAC address to restrict it from accessing this device's network. Next tab is bandwidth control, where you control the amount of bandwidth each device can use. Also, you can specify if a device can access the internet or it should only be used locally. Like you see, with that button turned off, there is no internet access on my device. If I switch it back on, I have internet access. The next tab is port forwarding. If you need any ports to be mapped for any specific service, this is where you make those configurations. Next, you have the administration tab, where you can do factory reset, update firmware, or change the admin password. So now to the real question. Does this device do everything it claims it can? The answer is yes. Could it have done more? Maybe yes. Especially the function of DHCP relay would have been very, very nice. So I could keep all my device configured by a central DHCP server, which would have made it very, very easy to manage. If that is not a big deal for you, I think it's a brilliant device, something that you should consider.